Okay, good morning, everybody. As we continue our learning of Tanya, we are holding chapter 44. You can see the page on your, see here in front of you, the page we were holding. You can follow with us. And we can, wait a minute. Good morning, Bobby. Are you there? You left. Okay, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Have a good Isra Chag. Today is Isra Chag. Okay, so we're going to continue chapter 44 of Tanya. Yesterday was Yontiv, Shabbos, good Yontiv. Today is Isra Chag, is the day after Yontiv. As you know, the Yontiv goes for 7 more days. We continue, don't say Tachnan, we continue the holiday till the 12th of the month. So it continues, Baruch Hashem. So we're holding over here, the Alter Rebbe is talking about the concept of love, Ava, Avas Hashem. How does one have love to the Eibusher? And the Alter Rebbe says, we explain in Tanya, is a concept of Avas Olam, Ava Rabba, a big love, a love of the essence, a love of Tanugim, really, a love of Tanugim, the delightful love. And we have Avas Olam, a love through the aspect of the world. And the Alter Rebbe, we ended off over here that the Alter Rebbe says that that in that love there's really a difference between people. We can have each of these loves, the love of the light, and the love of through Olam, through the aspect of the world. We can have many different aspects. We can have many different levels. And then there has to be an Ava that is that every Jew is equal in this Ava. Every Yid has this Ava. And this is an Ava that the Zohar writes that it's Yerusha Lonu Aviseinu. It's an Ava that was inherited from us from our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And our mothers, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. So we're holding, you see over there, yet there's one singular and unique love which incorporates something, all the distinctions and all the gradations of both Ava Rabba and Ava Solam. There's something out there, there's a love, there's an Ava that each and every one of us has. There's a love that each and every one of us has. That this Ava, this love, is something that touches, it really is the essence of love. And this love is equal by all Jews. It's something that is inheritance, like you have an inheritance of father that inherits to his children. And everyone gets their share. They got their share because they were a child of the father, not because they bought into the share or they deserved the share. They got the share because they are the child of the parents. And they automatically, according to Jewish law, they get the share. The only one who gets a bigger share in the Torah law is a Bechor. And he would get Pishnayim, he gets double, but everybody else gets the exact same share. That's the way of Yerusha. That's the concept of Yerusha. The Torah, we just celebrated the holiday of Shavuos. We say, Torah Tiva Lanu Moshe Moirosha. The Torah was commanded to us by Moshe Rabbeinu. Is Yerusha, is an inheritance to every Jew. What does that mean when you say called an inheritance? It means that every single Jew has it equally. There's nobody who can say, I got more than you. Why? Because it's an inheritance. It's not something that each and every one of us, so to say, deserved, or we're going to get it through because I have more seichel, you have less seichel. No. The more intellect, more comprehension. Every person is supposed to comprehend the Torah according to his capability. And he's not supposed to comprehend the Torah more than somebody else, because of somebody else's capability. Every person has the capability to comprehend the Torah according to his capability. It's the inheritance to him. And the Eibishter God knew exactly what each and every human being can handle. So the Gemara says, the Eibishter God did not come give something to the Jewish people they can't handle. That's actually what the Alter Rebbe said before, that a mitzvah, for example, the concept of a mitzvah is equalizers of all the Jewish nation. The Eibishter did not give a mitzvah to the Jewish nation that they could not do. Every mitzvah in the Torah could be done. From the greatest to the most simplest. Everybody can do that mitzvah. And that unites us. So I put on tefillin and Moshe Rabbeinu put on tefillin. We both did the mitzvah equally. He didn't do the mitzvah more than me, and I didn't do the mitzvah less than him. That's a Yerusha. The Eibishter gave us a gift, gave every person a gift, and a gift is not something that you deserve. It's not a reward, it's a gift. If it was a reward, then you might say, then the reward is according to what you do. But if it's a gift, if the God gave us a gift, then it's a gift. The Eibishter gave us a gift. This is unbelievable. The Alter Rebbe says, the Zohar says, that the Eibishter not only gave us the gift of a mitzvah, the Eibishter God gave us another gift. He gave us the gift of love, of Ava, that we have within us, Ava, that is so powerful that this Ava, it might be hidden by some, it might be revealed by some, it doesn't make a difference. Whether it's revealed or hidden, this Ava each person has. And the Alter Rebbe brings down a Zohar. And this is what the Zohar says. You can follow with me. Nafshi ivisicha balayla. My soul, I desire you at night. That's a pasuk. That's a verse. And the Alter Rebbe explains this verse. He says, what is the meaning of the verse? Nafshi ivisicha, my soul, I desire you. My soul. Well, are we talking to the soul? Are we desiring? What do you mean, my soul, I desire you at night? You're desiring the soul. You're talking to your soul. So the Zohar says, notes, that the verse grammatically anomalous. It should have said, my soul desire you. Nafshi ivisicha lecha, my soul desires God. Alternative, I desire you. What is the meaning of my soul? That my soul refers to God, the soul of all beings. That's the meaning of the pasuk. The Zohar said. The Zohar says the pasuk means nafshi v'sicha, my soul, which is God, as the Alter Rebbe said in the beginning of Tanya, that every soul is a chelik elakam imal mamish. Every soul is a part of God. Every soul. Desire, my soul. Why do I desire God? Because I have a soul. In effect, the Jew says to God, you are my soul. Therefore, I desire you. That's why if I wouldn't have a soul, I wouldn't desire you. I desire you because I have a soul. Because you are my essence. And the Zohar goes on to say, look at the Zohar. So we ended off last week by this Zohar. One should love God with a love of the soul. We should not only love the Eibishter b'chol avavcha, b'chol nafshecha, b'chol me'edecha. One should that's in essence when you say I love somebody else. That person is a love that's not me. Even if the highest love between a relationship between the couple, we are not one entity. We are two entities and we love that person. We love that entity. But in essence, the love of God is even a greater love than that. One should love God with a love of the soul and the spirit as they are attached to the body, and the body loves them. This is interpretation of word, my soul I desire, which means since you, God, are my true soul and life, therefore do I desire you. That's why the Alter Rebbe, the very famous statement, before he would daven, he would say, before he pray, he would say that I don't want your Gan Eden, I don't want your Elam Haba, I want you. Everything else is thus a cherry on the cake, so to say. I want to have a relationship with you because you are me and I am you. That is to say, I long and I yearn for you like a man who craves the life of his soul. And when he is weak and exhausted, he longs and yearns for his soul to revive him. That's why he says, the verse says, I yearn for you at night. Because in essence, as the Alter Rebbe is going to say, is when a person is hungry, when a person is thirsty, he has a craving because he realizes that this is his life. He cannot live. He cannot survive without it. It's not a pleasure. It's not something extra. It's his need. Without it, he doesn't survive. Without my soul, I don't have life. It's not like my soul is something extra. I have life, Baruch Hashem, and I have a soul as an extra sidekick. No, without my soul, I have no life. So therefore, my soul is my life. And my soul is a part of God. So God is my life. Without God, I am nothing. I'm not alive. So, in essence, the Chassidus and the Rebbe emphasize the aspect of Torah mitzvahs in general. You should know. The Rebbe emphasizes the concept of Dira b'Tachtonim. He flipped the whole thing on its head, in a way, and he emphasized that the concept of Yiddishkeit is the Sava Kodesh Baruch Hu Lasis the Dira b'Tachtonim. The Eibush had a desire to be in this world. The Rebbe, in essence, Chassidus accentuates it. Right, there's a concept of reward and punishment. There's an aspect of Gan Eden and Gehenna, but that's all our perspective. That's the way we see it. And that's the way it's our relationship. It's about us ultimately. Gan Eden and Gehenna is all about us. It's all about me. How about looking at it from God's point of view? How about looking at why God wanted the world? God wanted the world if I would have Gan Eden or Gehenna. That's what the Eibishter wanted. Oh, he made a whole world, so I will either go to Gan Eden or go to Gehenna and be the reward or punishment. But it's a game. The Eibishter had a purpose in creation of the world. We have to start looking at it as God's purpose in creation of the world. That flipped the whole thing. That, in essence, when you do came from the Shavuos, you can look at Shavuos as the Eibishter gave us a gift. Shows a nation that he wanted that they would do Torah mitzvahs. Oh, they would have zechuyos. They would have merits. We say that even. So the Eibishter wanted to give merit to the Jewish nation. So it's again about the Jewish nation. He wanted to give merit to the Jewish nation. And then we can look at it the way Chassidus wants to look at it, which is a little more deeper. The Eibishter wanted Gil and Lakus. God wanted to reveal godness to the world. That was God's agenda. God's agenda was that he would be able to reveal godness to the world. And we are the partners in revealing godness to the world. That's what Matan Torah is. Not only about me having merits and not having merits. Me becoming a better person, not a better person. Me going up higher and lower, or ultimately reaching this, as we say, this world is an antechamber to the upper world, to the next world. It's all about my journey. What about God's journey? What is God's journey in the world? And this is the emphasis. We need to, the truth is, Chassidus didn't come take away from the concept of reward and punishment, all this, that, 100%. But you can imagine, if you would emphasize God's journey, if it would be the concept of God's journey, then your journey will automatically be there. You can have your journey. That's why the Rebbe once explained, Rabbi Yechim Zakai. Rabbi Yechim Zakai, it says, Rabbi Yechim Zakai, before he died, before he passed away, he cried. And he said a very famous statement. I don't know where they're extending me. I don't know. I'm going to come to heaven. I don't know where I'm going to be. All the Mefarshim, even the students say, I mean, Rabbi, you don't know where you're going. You're tzaddik gomer, you're a complete righteous man. You're going to Gan Eden. He doesn't answer them. Because in essence, he continues to hold. I said there's many, I don't know which way I'm going to be going. And there's many commentators on that statement. Chassidus explains that Rabbi Echman Zaka realized that Taki was a great tzaddik and he did unbelievable for Am Yisrael. He did unbelievable service for his neshama. But what did he do for God? Maybe it was not the essence of what God wanted. It was all about himself. He comes to Maila, he comes above, and God tells him, great, you're a phenomenal person. But you know what? You didn't do my purpose in the creation. How do I know? How do I know? And that's a very important thing that the Rebbe revealed this concept in the Gemara to us, that we should also comprehend that we should also realize. Because here's something that's an equalizer to all of us. To Rabbi Echman and Zakkai, and to Zalman Bukiet, and to every one of us. Because if we would put on the glass of God, that equalizes us. We all know the Eibishter wanted to have a Gilui L'kus in the world. And that's what the Rebbe said. What's Gilui L'kus in the world? What is revelation of God in the world? If I ask you a question, what's the revelation? Any aspect of godliness. If you can teach an aleph, that's Gilui L'kus. If you can teach another Jew the letter aleph, that is revelation of godliness in the world. And that's in Pirkei Avos. And that's what the Father says. David HaMelech called somebody because he taught him one word, one halacha, he called him Rabbi. If you can teach somebody Torah, let it be one letter in the word, the Aleph Beis, you brought godliness to the world. You came a shutev. Each and every one of us came a partner with God in the creation of the world, because that's Gilui L'kus, that's revelation of God. And that revelation was needed, and nobody could do it, maybe. Maybe nobody would able to reach this person. Nobody ever come in contact with that person you're going to come in contact with, that you could have taught the Aleph to, and you missed an opportunity of Gilui L'kus. Not you missed an opportunity to get a brownie point that you helped the Jew. Not even to say, oh, I helped the Jew to help him. You're helping God. That's what the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, I mean, in his Maimon and his Sichos, and that's what this was emphasized throughout Chassidus. We have to put on the glasses of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have to put on God's glasses. And we have to look what the Eibishter wanted in the world. And what God wanted in the world. And this is what the Eibishter wanted. The Eibishter gave each and every single one of us a neshama. Whether we come out of a very tzaddik ben tzaddik, whether we come out of not righteous people, it doesn't make a difference. We all know there are three shutfim, the Gemara says, the Talmud says, are three partners in every human being. His father, his mother, and God. His father and mother might give him the physical side of him. God gives him his neshama. The Eibishter gives him his neshama. With this neshama, God gives him the capability to bring up, to elevate the world, to reveal godliness in the world. And that concept, God put his full trust in him, that he could do that, or she could do that, he or she could do that. So here the Alter Rebbe says this is a beautiful thing. We read it a couple times last week. And I hope that you read it on your own. That this concept, my soul I desire, which means, since you, God, are my true soul and life, therefore I desire you. Not because I'm a great sage, or not because I know that I've done 1,000,000 mitzvahs, or done maybe not the opposite of mitzvahs. I desire you because I have a neshama. I desire you because I have a soul. And by desiring my soul, I desire you. And we all desire soul because we all want to live. We all want to live. Which means, since God, I don't mean the same words over again, which means, since God, you, God, are my true soul, therefore I desire you. That's to say, I long and I yearn for you like a man who craves the life of his soul. And when he's weak and exhausted, he longs and yearns for his soul to revive him, to revive in him, to return to him. That's why we wake up in the morning, we say right away, Maidani lefanecha. Oh, do I give thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Do I give thanks to God? Shechzai tabin shmasi. Do I know that the God returned my soul? Do I know what the day is going to be? Do I know all the aches and pains that I'm going to have? All the pills I'm going to have to take? But I want to be able to kvetch. I want to be able to do all these things if I didn't have a neshama. If I wouldn't wake up in the morning. And I wouldn't have a soul. Where would I be if I didn't have this chzaras neshama? For the Eibishter, God didn't give me back my neshama, God forbid. Where would I be? Nowhere. I wouldn't be anymore. I would have nobody to complain to. And Alter Rebbe continues, likewise, when he goes to sleep, which is you can read inside, when one goes to sleep, in which the time of his life force is a state of concealment, for sleep is 1/6 of death. He longs and yearns for his soul to be restored to him. When he awakens from his sleep, right? That's why, again, everybody wants to be alive. Sleep is a scary situation, right? It's 1/60th of death. That's why you become impure, because you're 1/60th of death, chas v'shalom. God forbid. And it's like a renewal. It's like a new being. That's what we were taught, that in essence our soul goes l'mayla, and I come back like a new fresh being, like a new human being. It's a new day. This day, never been here before, and it won't be here again tomorrow. So do I long and yearn to draw within me the infinite light of blessings. So there is another great line of the Zohar. This is the Zohar. The Zohar says, just like I yearn in the morning for my neshama, just like I yearn in the morning for my soul, I want to be alive. I should have the same yearning for God to bring godliness to the world, because that's my soul. Having a soul is having a part of God within me. And having a part of God within me brings about the revelation of God in the world. How can there be a revelation of God in the world without my neshama being within me? The life of true life, through engaging in the study of Torah when I awaken during the night from my sleep. For the Torah and the Holy One, blessed be, are one in the same. So that's why it says, the Eibishter, the Torah is the wisdom of God, and a mitzvah is the will of God. Both of these entities, the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the aspect of the wisdom of God, Hu Chachmas Yechad. God and his will and his wisdom are all in essence one concept. Can't separate. Can't say, that's what Alter Rebbe wrote in the beginning of Tanya, the statement of the Rambam. He is the knower and the knowledge. You can separate a human being, the knowledge and the knowing and the knower, from one from the other. There's his knowledge and this is who he is. But the Eibush is one. Shem Echad, everything is one. So, but the Eibush, the Torah and mitzvahs are all him. That's why he says that that's the garments of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mitzvahs like the garments of God. We clothe ourselves with the garments of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with his garments. We become one with him. That's how we become one with the Eibush, is by learning Torah and by doing a mitzvah. So therefore, the Alter Rebbe over here brings, the Zohar over here. That's why it says that the great tzaddikim, or those that are holy individuals who wake up at night, they would get up in the night. David HaMelech would wake up in the night, and he would start to daven and learn a whole night. They would learn all night. There's a concept tikkun chatzos. You wake up at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and you sit and pray. Why? Because I have this desire. brought down that why did tzaddikim have a desire to learn at night? Because it's brought down, the Gemara says that God sits and learns at night. So their souls awakened by God's learning. They have this great delight in the learning of Torah. So that's what he says. So the Zohar says, out of love for Holy One, blessed be, a man shall rise each night and exert himself in the service until the morning. So we have this wakens us up. So by us, when we're sleeping all night, we at least wake up, Baruch Hashem, in the morning. We wake in the morning. I mean, you used to wake up in the morning. There's nothing like waking up with Folgers in your cup. But over here, there's nothing like waking up with a neshama in your body. There's nothing like waking up. If you wake up and there's no neshama chas v'shol in your body, then Folgers is not going to help you. So there's nothing like waking up. So tzaddikim would wake up. The body would wake up. And they would wake up at midnight and start to sit and learn Torah. David HaMelech would wake up at midnight and would sing Nims Midas Yisrael. He would sit and sing and daven to God, praise the Eibishter. Why? His neshama had awakening. His neshama had awakening because his soul was so connected to godliness that's when he awoke. His soul awoke. The Eibishter says it's a new day. It's time for your neshama to get up. That's why the Mishnah in Shulchan Aruch, it says, you wake up in the morning, you should wake up like a lion. Why? Because the Eibishter, God is at your bed. He's waiting for you. How do you know God's at your bed? He's sending the neshama to you. He's sending the neshama to you. It was not the alarm clock. The Eibishter sent you the neshama. Says it's time to get up. It's time to go out to do Avodas Hashem. It's time to go out and do my service. Time to go out and create things in the world, to bring godliness to the world. Not only time to go out and make a living and go have fun. It's time to do Dira B'Tateinim. It's time to bring godliness, an infinite concept, a holy concept in the world. And that might be done through your work, the people you're going to meet while you're working, the people you'll meet while you're walking down the street, the people that you'll talk to during the day. Are you going to uplift them? Are you going to teach them? Are you going to connect them? You're going to let it go. You're just going to talk now. You'll talk frivolity. Or are you going to realize that connection is there because the Eibishter brought that connection. God brought that connection. And the Alter Rebbe says, each and every one of us, the Zohar says, each and every one of us have this instinct love of God. It doesn't make a difference what you say or what you do or how you do it or what you think. It doesn't make a difference. This is an inheritance, my dear friends. We have an inherited love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's why it's brought down that we can do tshuva keherafai, and we can do repent in a split second. That's why it can be. The Mashiach comes, it says, it brought down the Rambam, everybody's going to do tshuva. But that's the sad thing, when we'll be awakened up from above, when we can do it now, without the awakening from below. We can do the tshuva ourselves. We can all do tshuva, a complete tshuva. If we really want it, we can do a complete tshuva. In the Yom of today, the 8th day of Sivan, the Rebbe writes in the Yom, the day today, he writes, the Eibishter created the world. He created the world as a garden of beautiful flowers. Basel Gani, come to my beautiful garden. And he also created a garden of egoism, egoism is walnuts. I think so, walnuts. Egoism is nuts, and egois is gematria chet. Egois, the word egois is the same numerical value as sin. So the Rebbe says, and that's a free choice. The Rebbe says you can go into the garden, my beautiful garden, a gorgeous garden. That's a choice. You can go into the garden of nuts. It can be a nut. That's your choice. Come into the garden, Basalagani. Choose to come into the right garden. But the Eibush already created that garden, and we have a desire to be in this beautiful garden. That's why it says that when we go against the will of God, that is a moment that's egoist. You're nuts. We think the other way, by going into a spiritual life, we're nuts. No, by going into a life of the opposite of godliness, that is the opposite, that is nuts. That is the opposite of our nature. This is the point, this is the opposite of our nature. Our nature is to be godly and to do godly things and to be chesed, kind, and to be loving and to be sharing. That's why the Gemara says that we should emulate God, because we are. Just like God is compassion, we should be compassionate. Just like God is loving, we should be loving. That's why God shows kindness, we should show kindness. Because we are. That's our essence. That's who we are. That we are not kind, that's a moment of insanity. It's crazy. It's against our nature. We're breaking our nature to do negative things. To do things that are opposite of Kedusha, God forbid. A greater, and so the Alter Rebbe says, a greater and a more intense love than the love which is a result of realizing that God is one true soul, is a love which is likewise concealed in every soul of Israel as an inheritance from our ancestors, which in defined in I am a Hemna, Kabbalah, and description of Moses' service, divine service, like a son who strives for the sake of his father and mother, whom he loves even more than his own body, soul, and spirit. Right, so a son, the Gemara says, the son, a child, will redeem his parents. God forbid that a parent is in captivity. A child loves his parents. It's a natural love. He will go above and beyond the letter of law. He will go above and beyond his capacity, his capability, to get him out of that situation. Because every child have a true love of his parents. We, because coming from Yisker, that's what we mention Yisker. We do Yisker. Comes Yontif, we do Yisker. Yisker Lakim is obviously, we want that the Eibishter should, if our parents need that boost, Lamaila, he should do it for them. For our sake, we will do anything in this world to give them that boost. It doesn't make a difference how long they have passed away. It doesn't make a difference to us. We are going to do a mitzvah. That's why in the Yisro we mention to give charity. We will give charity. We'll do whatever it takes to give that neshama its boost. To give that neshama, to take it out of, to give that neshama an aliyah. When you say some a neshama should have an aliyah, should go higher, in spirituality, anything that is higher, lower is captive. If you're going higher, then the lower situation is a concept of captivity. So when you want this neshama to have an aliyah, you want this neshama to have a boost, to go higher, that's the concept of taking him out of captivity. You're taking the soul out of its lower level. You're bringing the soul to a higher level. Can you imagine if we would all help our parents to go higher and higher? Parents, our loved ones, whoever it might be, that we give them the capability to go higher and higher. Who wouldn't do that? The Lubavitcher Rebbe would always say that you see Yisker, you see how the souls are interconnected, Yisker. Everybody wants to do Yisker. It's some kind of feeling that every Jew has, even though it's a rabbinical thing. It's not written in the Torah, Yisker. It's a rabbinical concept. The rabbis understood the souls, gave the Yidden a great gift. It's one of the gifts of the sages, oral law. Gave the Yidden an unbelievable gift, the concept since they understood how the souls are interconnected and how children can elevate their parents, or even not even children, because all souls are interconnected. We all can elevate somebody else's soul. That we should do that. That we should be able to give our parents, our loved ones who are on Shemayim, since we are interconnected, that we can give them a boost. My friend, we don't have to give them a boost only on Yiska. You can do that boost every day. We can do that. We can, if you do something good, and you have in mind L'zecha Nishmas, for the sake of the soul of your departed one, that gives that neshama its boost, because your souls are interconnected. You redeem them from captivity. You bring them up to a higher level, and we should do that. That's why the custom is, so we passed away, we buy siddur, we buy chamar. Imagine everybody sitting and davening in a siddur of somebody who's written his name in it. He's learning in a chumash. He's reading out of the Torah. He's in a synagogue that has his name on it. Every Jew that walks into the synagogue now gives an aliyah, gives a boost to this neshama, gives an elevation to the soul. And that's why we do that, to put it in the name of somebody, in the name of our loved one, in the name of this neshama, that this neshama should continue to have zechusim, to have merits even in the world to come, so that he cannot do that physically himself. We can do that for him, and we can do that for him in this world. It's a very famous story. Gemara brings the story of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva was once walking near the cemetery. He saw this person, love was shchaydim. He saw this person that was clothed in dark and black, hanging around the cemetery. And he said, "What are you doing here?" Stopped this person, and he realized that this was an neshama that had passed away. He's hanging on the cemetery. He didn't have an aliyah, so didn't go above. And he asked him why. He says, because nobody said kaddish for me. Nobody said kaddish for me. He said, do you have a child? He said, yes, I have a child, but he's an ignorant child, and he doesn't know even the alabes. How can he say kaddish? And Rabbi Akiva asked him where his child lived, and he went. The Gemara says he traveled to that city, took the child, he taught him alabes, taught him how to say kaddish, brought him to the shul. The son said kaddish for his father, and when Rabbi Akiva went back to the cemetery, he didn't see this person hanging around the cemetery anymore. That's the power of saying kaddish. You're given aliyah on a shama. This is shama, for whatever reason, couldn't go up above, couldn't have its elevation in this simple kaddish, simple saying kaddish, and people answering amen, sanctifying God's name in the world, gave an aliyah to the soul, gave a certain elevation. So that is, if we would have that concept that we can redeem the soul, we can redeem the godliness that's in the world. Because ki av echad l'kulona, my friends, as the Alter Rebbe continues, we have we not only all one Father? Are we all the children of one Father? Bonim atem la'Hashem Elokeichem. The Torah says you are the children of God. So do we have two fathers? Don't we have one Father? We have one Father, which is God. We are truly one soul. We need to become guarantors for each other. We are in this together. And by us, by me, and you, and each and every one of us, helping another Jew to reveal his neshama is doing him a favor. It's doing him a favor. It's doing me a favor. It's doing the person that is doing it a favor. It's doing God a favor, which God is the Father of us all. So that's why, just as Moshe possessed this love because God is his Father, so too every Jew possesses this love because God is the equal Father. My friends, by connecting to the neshama, I'm revealing God in the world. In a way, God, kavayachol, seemingly, it's not chashdom, you can't say God is a captive, but God needs to be revealed in the world. God is begging us. That's why we say, that's why it says in the Code of Jewish Law, when you wake up in the morning, God is waiting at your bed. He's waiting for you to get up. What are you going to do when you get up? Are you going to do a mitzvah? That's going to reveal godliness in the world. There was this godliness that was hidden in the world, and I just revealed it. I just brought it out into the open. That's an unbelievable power that each and every one of us have. That's unbelievable responsibility. It's unbelievable schus. It's unbelievable merit that each and every one of us have. So the Alter Rebbe continues. Look at it, continues. And although one may ask, who is this man and where is he who would dare presume in his heart to approach and attain even 1,000th of pride of the degree of love felt by Moses? Who is Moshe Rabbeinu? Moshe Rabbeinu. Moses was a unbelievable. Moshe Rabbeinu, even in Kabbalah, it says he had an neshama d'Atzilus, he had a soul of the world of emanation. You know what that means? That means his soul was burning within him. His soul was alive within him. His soul, I mean, even the Torah says that when Moshe Rabbeinu, his soul was such a shining entity that his body shined. You couldn't look at him physically because his soul shone from his body. So who am I to say I'm going to be like Moshe Rabbeinu? To have the love of Moshe Rabbeinu, to the Eibishter like Moshe Rabbeinu. So how can every person say that? Nevertheless, the Alter Rebbe says, a minute portion in particular of this great goodness and light illuminates the community of Israel each generation. As a state in Tikkunim, that the emanation from him, Moses, is present in every generation to illuminate them. So we have, it's brought down the Zohar, that's what we call him Moshe, that's what we say Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe, our teacher, because it's Pashtush, the Moshe B'chodor, first of all, there's the concept of Moshe Rabbeinu and the tzaddikim of every generation. And then there's a spark of Moshe Rabbeinu in each and every Jew. We are all connected through Moshe Rabbeinu. We are all connected through him. He's called the Raya Mehemna. He's called the faithful shepherd. He gave us faith from his generation to all generations. And that spark, that Ava, is within us. See, in essence, the Alter Rebbe started off with the concept of the patriarchs, and then he went to Moshe Rabbeinu. Because the patriarchs gave us Ava. Moshe Rabbeinu gave us, he was that's what Moshe Rabbeinu is called, a shepherd. He shepherded the faith. He had the capability to teach us how to connect to that Ava. We can have an Ava that's so hidden within us, we will never, ever be able to touch it. It's a Yerusha, it's an inheritance, it's such a diamond. We are peasants. How would we understand if we are peasants to the beauty of this diamond? We have no comprehension in the beauty of this diamond, in the beauty of this inheritance. So we have an inheritance. The Eibishter gave us inheritance of the Torah. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob gave us inheritance of our Moshe, Ava, and Yira. But they're like diamonds, and we are simple farmers. How are we supposed to comprehend? It's like the mashla was given. You take a farmer, a simple person, take him to a delicate, fancy fair where they serve this little delicate foods. He says, give me a steak, give me a big piece of meat. There's like little pieces of meat. It's supposed to be the most delicate taste. Give me my potatoes and my steak. Give me my hamburger. What does he understand in the delicacies of food? He understands a good piece of food because he doesn't understand and he doesn't know comprehension in these delicate foods. Imagine a spirituality that we should comprehend in the delicate concept. We understand. Do a mitzvah, don't do a mitzvah. Yes, no. Oh, we're going to get punished. We're all in the punishment and reward of everything in the most physical part of it. You're going to start talking to me about spiritual parts of it. You're going to start talking about the godly. These are very delicate, very refined, very intellectual concepts. I'm not intellectual. Too much for my brains. Give me where's the meat? Where's the beef? So the Moshe Rabbeinu taught the Yid how to become refined, how to refine yourself, how to become not refined as a human being, how to become refined spiritually, how to start to think these concepts, how to take this the spirituality and bring it down into a physical world. That you need a teacher. That's why Moshe is called Rabbeinu. How to take the Ava, how to take this love and reveal it. It's a very delicate, a very refined concept within me. It's not just a mundane physical love. This is a spiritual love. This is klois nefesh. This is what David HaMelech says. My soul yearns for you. My soul. Can you imagine? You have a soul. When we say even the concept of an neshama. Neshama is a spiritual thing. It's such a delicate flower. It's a diamond. And it's hidden. It's in this rough body. The Zohar says neshama is put into like the serpent, the clothes, the garments of a serpent snake. Take this beautiful soul, this neshama shanasati tahir, this beautiful pure soul, put into my physical mundane craving, physical craving. This soul says, what is this? This is something I have no interest in. And the body says, you're too delicate for me. You're too sensitive. I can't deal with you. And then Moshe Rabbeinu came, and Moshe Rabbeinu taught Am Yisrael, took them out of Shibud Mitzrayim, where they were slaves to the Mitzrayim, slaves to the most immoral, unethical. And Mitzrayim was known as the most immoral, most unethical part of the world. And he took them out of that kind of a situation that it says that the Jewish people almost went down to the 50th levels of impurity. And now they had to become refined physically and especially spiritually to be able to be refined and to comprehend and to taste. Tamu uru'u kitayv Hashem, the verse says. Tamu, taste, uru'u, and you'll see the pleasantness of it. We eat it, and it has no taste to us, seemingly. Something that has no taste, something we cannot comprehend, something we cannot enjoy. Now Moshe Rabbeinu and the Moshe teachers of every generation gave the Torah, and they taught it in a way that it was pleasant, that even a simple person, even a mundane individual, even somebody who's coarse, can ultimately refine himself, become more delicate physically and ultimately spiritually, to be able to taste the beauty of this concept. So not only I would do something, a mitzvah, because it is obligated upon me, and if not, I'm going to get punished, and if yes, I'm going to get a reward, but I do it because I see the sweetness in it. I see the beauty in this mitzvah. That was what Moshe Rabbeinu. That's why he's called in Chassidut. It's called the faithful shepherd. Zohar calls him the faithful shepherd. The very famous Maimah, where the Maimah says you can call the faithful shepherd or the shepherd of faith. Moshe Rabbeinu shepherd faith. He taught Yidden to have a munah. And the truth is, the Rebbe writes there that both of these interpretations go together. Of course, he was the faithful shepherd. He was the shepherd of faith. He taught Yidden how to live their faith. Not just to have faith, how to live their faith. To live with their faith. It's a whole different concept. It's you can everybody has faith. But to live with your faith. That means the faith. When we say to a person should live with his faith, then he lives differently. Changes the way he thinks, it changes the way he talks, it changes what he does, because he lives with this emunah. He lives with this faith. And the Eibishter, this was a gift of Moshe Rabbeinu. This was the gift that God gave to the world. Moshe Rabbeinu. And not only Moshe Rabbeinu, but the Spashtusha, as the Zohar writes, the Spashtusha the Moshe, the offsprings of Moshe Rabbeinu in every generation, the tzaddikim and the great teachers of every generation until this generation that taught Am Yisrael, gave the Jewish nation, each and every Jew, taught them how to live, how to believe, how to learn, how to look at things. The Rebbe, the leader of this generation, taught the generation how to look at things different, to comprehend things different. If we comprehend it different, everything that will be done will be different. And he was the shepherd of this generation. He was the faithful shepherd. He was the Moshe Rabbeinu of this generation, who was a faithful shepherd, and he was the shepherd of faith. Taught us how to have faith, because it's very difficult. Every generation has its challenges. Every generation has its struggles, and it cannot be said that we're one concept. We are, but there's different struggles. The Gashmias, the physical world, is different. We are not in the physical worlds of 100 years ago, or surely 3,000 years ago. Moshe Rabbeinu. We need to have a shepherd of this generation. The Rebbe said this generation is the last generation before the coming of Mashiach. So this generation has its agenda. The Rebbe gave it its agenda. Agenda of this generation is revelation of God in the world. Think about God. We are at the time where we have the capability to think about God. Do things for the aspect of bringing godliness to the world. Not about self, ultimately self would automatically come about. But you can have self and not forget about God. But if you have God, you'll automatically have self. So we all have this aspect of Moshe Rabbeinu. So if you just can continue with just a little bit more, learn more. Only the glow from Moshe's soul is presented in the soul of all of Israel in a manner of a great obscurity and concealment. But to bring forth this hidden love from its latency and concealment to a state of revelation, so that it will be manifest in the heart and the mind, is not beyond our reach, nor is it far off. For it's very close to you, in your mouth and your heart to do. We can all, now the Rebbe says, we can all reveal this hidden concept of Moshe Rabbeinu, which Moshe Rabbeinu taught to each and every Jew. You know, it says, the Gemara says, Kol ma'ashatalma v'asiv l'chadash, anything that any generation will come out and expand upon and bring about, Kol nitla Moshe Sinai. Moshe Rabbeinu gave already for all generations. He gave the Torah Shebiksav, Torah Shebal Peh. He gave them all the tools and all the capabilities that in every generation they will be able to tap in with that tool, with that leader, with that capability to reveal that hidden aspect in their soul, that faith, that hidden faith that each and every one of us have. And why do we have faith? Because we have an neshama. If we didn't have an neshama, we wouldn't have this faith. So the Eibishter gave us a matana, he gave us a soul. That's what we said in the morning. I thank God he gave me this gift, which is a neshama. And that's why I have this faith. It might be hidden. It might be dim with if I waken up this faith. I learn Torah, and I do a mitzvah, and I do it for the sake of awakening this emunah. I have this capability, and it's something that Torah tziva lanu Moshe Meirasha. Just like, in a way, the Avos gave us a Yerusha, inheritance of this Ava. We are Bnei Avram, Yitzhak, Yaakov. We are the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moshe Rabbeinu gave us the tool. Torah tziva lanu Moshe. Moshe Rabbeinu gave us the Torah. Meirasha, he gave us another inheritance. He gave us this inheritance. We have a spark of Moshe Rabbeinu within us, and this spark, I have, each and every one of us has the capability to reveal. Yes, Moshe, it's great stuff. If we only would learn it and understand it and ultimately do it. Lilmaid, Lalamed, Lishma, Velasis. We would be different. We would think different. So that is to say, it should be the habitual with us, his tongue and his voice, to arouse the intentions of his heart and mind. For the sound of one's voice arouses the devoted concentration of the heart and mind. That's why it says, you have to, when you pray, you have to hear the words of your prayer. When you learn, you should learn vocally, because that's the way, that's what awakens. When we only just think, it's like sometimes we're just thinking, and our mind never stops thinking. So we can think Torah, and we can think also other things too. But if we talk, we say it, that awakens speech. Speech is ma'oder ava. When you want to awaken somebody's love, you speak to them, talk to them, you tell them how beautiful they are, whatever it is, how great they are, etc., etc. And that awakens up the ava that we have for one another. So too with the Avos Hashem, or the Ava to our neshama. We need to talk to our neshama, so to say, that our neshama hears us, comprehends us, hears us, that we love him, that we need him, that we, that's why again, we say in the morning, Moida Ali lefanecha, we say it, don't think it. Moida Ali lefanecha, shazayta bi nishmasi, we thank you, God, we thank you, soul, for coming back. We thank you. We need you in neshama. Such a powerful, such an important statement to say. When, you know, how many statements do we say in our davening to our neshama? Here we talk to our neshama. We tell our neshama, we love you. We thank God for giving us back this neshama. I thank the Eibishter for giving me back this neshama. What would I do without this neshama? That awakens, that it gives the importance to the neshama. I'm having a relationship with my neshama. I need a relationship with my soul. I can't just have a relationship only with everything else, but without my neshama. What's my relationship with my soul? So I have to wake up the first thing in the morning. I have a relationship with my neshama. That's the first thing I need to do, is to have a wake. Then I say further. I go to the blessings of the day. I say thank you for sight. I say thank you for voice. I say thank you for other things that I use in the world. But what's the first relationship that I have in the morning is with my neshama. Well, the truth is I have a relationship the whole time. But what's the first thing I didn't realize when I open up my eyes in the morning? Wow, I have a relationship with this neshama. Without the relationship with this neshama, there's no other relationship in the world. There's no other. There will be no other relationship in the world. So let's just end this over with these following words. So as to immerse his thought in the life of the blessed Eid and Seif, and to immerse your thought in God, for he is literally our true Father and the source of our life, and to awaken our love for him like the love of a son to his father. That's why the best thing to do is when you wake up in the morning is to daven. There we talk about, we thank God. Before we go look at the news, before we look at what's happening in the world, it automatically distracts us. Go and pray. Open up a siddur. Thank God for life. Thank God for my neshama. Thank God for giving me, as we say, all the prayers that we do. We love our relationship, our purpose in the world is godliness. That's our true purpose. Everything else is either a challenge or we have to obstacle or something we have to accomplish. But our true entity is our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's where it starts and that's where it ends. That's the hope, and that's the purpose. Is our relationship with God. That's what we came down to the world for. We came down to this world that we're going to have a relationship with God to bring godliness to the world. And without God and without my soul, I would never be able to accomplish this purpose. And therefore, that is the true entity, the true purpose, and the true my true existence. My friends, I want to wish you a wonderful and beautiful day, a wonderful and beautiful year, a wonderful, beautiful, happy week. May God bless you all with unbelievable